You believe your humility is a virtue. You think your kindness is a strength. You have been told that to be good is to be agreeable, to be gentle, to turn the other cheek. That is a lie. It is the most dangerous lie ever told. A poison administered in honeyed milk since your birth. Look at your life. Look at the quiet desperation that hums beneath the surface of your smile. You feel it, don't you? That sense of being a spectator in your own existence. A piece on a board, moved by invisible hands, while others, less worthy, less good than you, build empires on the foundation of your compliance. They feast while you say grace. You follow the rules. You wait your turn. You explain yourself when accused. You shrink when challenged. You apologize for taking up space. And for this, you are rewarded with contempt. You are patted on the head and called a nice guy as the world is carved up by wolves who do not care for your opinion. Your virtues are not virtues. They are chains. They are the bars of a psychological prison designed to keep you manageable, predictable, and weak. What I'm about to tell you will not make you happy. It is not self-help. It is not a list of tips to be a better, more liked version of yourself. This is a weapon. This is an inoculation against the plague of mediocrity that has infected the soul of modern man. This is a surgical procedure to remove the slave heart that beats in your chest, pounding out a rhythm of fear, resentment, and submission. The cost of ignoring this is not failure. It is not disappointment. The cost is your life itself, not the biological process of breathing and eating, but the life that could be, the life of fire, of power, of sovereignty. You are standing at a crossroads. One path leads back to the comfortable pasture, to the herd, where you will live and die as sheep. The other path leads into the mountains. It is cold, it is lonely, and it is dangerous. But it is the only path where a lion can be born. You feel the conflict inside you, a war between two opposing forces. There is a voice, deep within, that whispers of greatness. It speaks of ambition, of conquest, of bending reality to your will. This is the master. This is your true nature. Then there is the other voice, louder, more insistent. The voice of your teachers, your parents, your society. It screeches about fairness, about equality, about the sin of pride. It tells you to be humble, to know your place, to serve. This is the slave. It is not you. It is a program installed in you. You feel this war in every interaction. When someone cuts you in line, the slave whispers, "Let it go. It's not worth it." The master roars, "Seize what is yours." When you are offered an opportunity that feels too big, the slave whines, "You're not ready. You'll fail." The master commands, "Take it. Make it yours." When you are criticized, the slave scrambles to defend, to explain, to justify. The master is silent. He is the judge, not the judged. This internal war is exhausting you. It bleeds you of your power, your focus, your very life force. While you are trapped in this civil war, others are acting. The unseen predators, the men who understand the true nature of power, they do not have this conflict. They killed their inner slave long ago. They see your hesitation. They smell your need for approval. They recognize your adherence to a moral code they themselves designed to control you. Weakness is not a neutral state. It is a vacuum, and power, like nature, abhors a vacuum. Your weakness actively invites predation. Your goodness is the scent of blood in the water for sharks. They build their castles with the stones of your self-doubt. They fuel their jets with the energy you waste seeking their validation. You are not just losing the game. You are the fuel that powers the victory of your opponents. This must end. The war must be won. The slave must be executed. Over a century ago, a man with a furious mustache and eyes that saw through the soul of civilization diagnosed this sickness. His name was Friedrich Nietzsche. He was not a philosopher in the academic sense. He was a physician of culture, a demolitions expert for crumbling ideals. Nietzsche saw that the world was divided not by class or by race, but by something far deeper, by two fundamental types of morality: the morality of the master and the morality of the slave. Master morality is the morality of the strong, the noble, the confident. It springs from a triumphant yes to life. The master defines good as that which is noble, powerful, life-affirming. Bad is simply that which is weak, common, and cowardly. His values are created from within. Slave morality is the opposite. It does not create, it reacts. It is born from the weak, the oppressed, the resentful. Unable to win in reality, the slave performs a great spiritual act of revenge. He cannot say yes to the master's power, so he says no. He looks at the master's strength and calls it evil. He looks at the master's pride and calls it vanity. He looks at the master's wealth and calls it greed. And in a moment of genius, a moment of black magic, the slave redefines his own weakness. His inability to retaliate becomes goodness. His cowardice becomes patience. His submission becomes humility. His servitude becomes obedience. This is the great inversion, the transvaluation of all values. The weak did not become strong. They simply declared their weakness to be good, and the strength of the noble to be evil. And this, Nietzsche warned, is the morality that has triumphed in the West. It is the code that runs your mind. You have been taught to worship at the altar of weakness. You have been trained to see your own natural instincts for power, for ambition, for dominance, as sins. It is a psychological weapon of mass control, and you are its primary victim. To break free, you must unlearn everything. You must perform a counter-revolution in your own soul. You must destroy the slave morality that holds you hostage. Here are the 7 laws to do it. These are not suggestions. They are commands. Law 1. Annihilate the spirit of revenge. The engine of slave morality is a French word, ressentiment. It is a venomous mixture of envy, hatred, and impotence. It is the feeling of the man in the basement, looking up at the penthouse, muttering about injustice. You feel this when you see someone succeed where you have not. You feel a bitter sting. You immediately search for a reason why their success is illegitimate. He was lucky. He had connections. He must have cheated. This is the slave's poison. It focuses your energy outward, on the object of your envy, instead of inward, on the source of your own failure. It is a psychological sedative that keeps you from the painful work of self-overcoming. The master does not feel resentment. When he sees a greater man, he does not feel envy. He feels admiration, or he feels rivalry. He sees a mountain and is inspired to climb it. Not to complain about its height. Stop consuming gossip. Stop watching commentary channels that exist only to tear down the successful. Stop participating in the collective ritual of tearing down the tall poppies. It is a drug for the weak. When you feel that bitter envy rise in your throat, recognize it for what it is: the slave whining. Starve it of attention. Turn that energy inward like a furnace. Ask yourself not, why does he have that? But, what must I become to achieve it? The slave seeks to bring everyone down to his level. The master seeks to rise above all levels. Annihilate resentment, or it will annihilate you. Imagine a rival at work gets a promotion you wanted. The slave. You immediately thinks, he's such a brown noser. He doesn't deserve it. The system is rigged. You spend the evening complaining to your partner, your mind churning with impotent rage. The master you feels a flash of disappointment, then cold clarity. He observes the rival. How did he do it? What skills did he display? What political games did he win? The master analyzes, learns, and sharpens his own strategy for the next battle. His focus is on his own ascent, not his rival's position. He transforms poison into fuel. Law 2. Kill the inner priest. The slave morality needed an enforcer. This is the archetype of the priest. The priest is the one who codifies weakness into virtue. He is the arbiter of good and evil, the judge who condemns the natural instincts of life. You have an inner priest. It is that voice in your head that constantly judges you. It is the source of your guilt and your shame. It tells you that your desire for women is lustful and dirty. It tells you that your ambition for wealth is greedy. It tells you that your pride in your accomplishments is arrogant. This inner priest is the jailer of your will to power. It demands you confess your sins of strength. It forces you to kneel before the altar of mediocrity. You must kill him. When that voice of guilt arises, do not argue with it. Do not confess. Laugh at it. When it tells you that you are being selfish, you will agree and amplify. Yes, and I will be more selfish. My needs, my goals, my empire comes first. When it calls you arrogant, you will say, yes, arrogance is the divine right of the man who creates value. My confidence is a reflection of my competence. The inner priest thrives on your fear of judgment. When you show no fear, when you embrace the very things he condemns, he starves and withers. He has no power over a man who is beyond good and evil. You are not here to be a saint. You are here to become a god. Saints are celebrated martyrs. Gods are feared and obeyed creators. Choose. A beautiful woman smiles at you. The inner priest immediately whispers, don't stare. You're a creep. She's out of your league. Wanting her is wrong. You look away, filled with a vague sense of shame. The man who has killed his priest feels the desire. He acknowledges it as a sign of life, of vitality. He holds her gaze. He smiles. He might approach, he might not. But the decision is his, born of power and choice, not of shame and prohibition. He owns his desire without apology. It is a part of his strength, not a source of his guilt. Law 3. Stop explaining. Explanation is submission. Read that again. Burn it into your mind. Every time you justify your actions, your beliefs, or your desires to someone who has not earned the right to an explanation, you are handing them the judge's gavel. You are placing yourself in the defendant's box. You are implicitly saying, your framework of reality is the correct one, and I must prove that my actions fit within it. This is a catastrophic loss of frame. It is the quintessential act of the slave. The master does not explain. His actions are their own justification. His will is its own law. When someone challenges you, why did you do that? Or accuses you, you're being so aggressive, the slave instinct is to backpedal and justify. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. I was just trying to... Stop. The powerful response is silence. A calm, unwavering stare that communicates, I do not need to explain myself to you. Or a short, frame-holding question. Why is that a problem? Or, if you wish to be truly devastating, agree and amplify. Attacker. That was a very arrogant thing to say. Defensive, you. No, you misunderstood me. I just think that. Machiavellian, you. Thank you for noticing. Watch what happens. The attacker is left sputtering. They expected you to play the game, to defend, to enter their frame. By refusing, you demonstrate that their opinion is utterly irrelevant to you. You are the sun. They are a child yelling at it for being too bright. Power is not held by winning the argument. Power is held by demonstrating that you are above the need to argue in the first place. Law 4. Become the value creator. For your entire life, you have been a consumer of values. You have been handed a menu of what is good, bad, right, and wrong, and you have chosen from it. This is the state of the herd animal. It grazes on the grass it is given. The master, the Übermensch or overman that Nietzsche envisioned, does not choose from the menu. He writes the menu. He is a creator of values. This is the deepest level of sovereignty. It is the understanding that good and evil are not cosmic truths. They are interpretations. They are perspectives. The slave morality calls self-sacrifice good. The master might see it as a pathetic waste of potential. The slave morality calls safety and comfort good. The master sees them as stagnation, as the enemy of greatness. He values danger, risk, and the overcoming of hardship. You must stop asking, is this the right thing to do? And start asking, does this serve my ascent? Does this make me stronger? Does this align with the man I am choosing to become? This is a terrifying freedom. It means you and you alone are responsible for the moral compass of your life. There is no sacred text, no guru, no society to hide behind. Begin small. Identify one virtue you have been taught that is holding you back. Is it the need to be fair to those who are unfair to you? Is it the need to be modest about your achievements? Take that value and consciously, deliberately, cast it aside. In its place, install a new value of your own creation, a value of strategic self-interest, a value of unapologetic pride. You are no longer a sheep looking for a shepherd. You are a philosopher king, legislating the laws of your own soul. Your will becomes the new tablet of stone. Law 5. Wield amor fati as a shield. Amor fati, Latin for love of one's fate. Nietzsche called this his formula for greatness in a human being. It is the ability to want nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. This is not passive resignation. It is not saying, oh well, I guess this is my lot in life. That is the slave's sigh of defeat. Amor fati is an active, joyful, defiant embrace of everything that happens to you. The successes, the failures, the pleasures, the pains, the triumphs and the tragedies. You don't just accept them, you will them. You love them. You declare them necessary. Why is this so powerful? Because it makes you untouchable. Most of a man's suffering comes from the gap between what is and what he wishes would be. He loses his job and spends months wishing it hadn't happened. He gets rejected and wastes years wishing she had said yes. The man of amor fati experiences the same event and says, good. I lost my job? Good. The universe is forcing me to build my own enterprise. I was betrayed? Good. I have learned a priceless lesson about human nature and can now see my enemies more clearly. I am facing a terrible struggle? Good. This is the fire that will forge me into a weapon. He sees every obstacle not as a roadblock, but as a necessary part of his own heroic narrative. He is the protagonist of a grand epic. And every twist, every monster, every dark forest is exactly what he needed to become the hero. How can you defeat a man who loves his wounds? How can you threaten a man who finds fuel in his failures? You can't. He becomes a force of nature. He becomes fate itself. Law 6. Master the art of the mask. Slave morality demands authenticity. It demands you be an open book. Be yourself, it chirps. Be vulnerable. Be transparent. This is suicidal advice in a world of predators. To be completely transparent is to hand your enemy the blueprint to your own destruction. It is to show them every weakness, every insecurity, every button they can push to control you. The master understands that society is a stage. He is a conscious actor. He wears masks. This is not about being a liar or a fraud. It is about strategic application of the self. A mask is a tool, not a deception for deception's sake. With the herd, you wear the mask of polite indifference. You do not reveal your true ambitions or your contempt for their values. You give them what they expect, preserving your energy for the real battles. With your rivals, you wear the mask of unpredictability. You show them strength where you are weak, and weakness where you are strong. You become a puzzle they cannot solve. With your allies, you wear the mask of calculated loyalty. You are good to them not because a holy book told you to be, but because it is strategic and beneficial to your power. Only in solitude, or with the very few who have proven themselves worthy of your trust, do you remove the masks. Being yourself is a luxury for children and fools. The powerful man is not one self. He is many selves, and he chooses the one that best serves his purpose in any given moment. He is not fake. He is tactical. He understands that the world is a masquerade ball, and the man who refuses to wear a costume is the first one to be thrown out. Control your information. Control your emotions. Control what you project. That is control of the game. Law 7. Live dangerously. The final command of the master morality is a declaration of war against the ultimate god of the slave. Comfort. Slave morality prizes safety, security, and the absence of pain above all else. Its heaven is a place with no risk, no challenge, and no struggle. A warm, quiet room where nothing ever happens. This is the definition of a living death. Nietzsche's Zarathustra commands, "Build your cities on the slopes of Vesuvius. Send your ships into uncharted seas. Live in a state of war with your peers and yourselves." This is not a call for literal recklessness. It is a command to choose growth over safety. It means you must actively seek out the things you fear. You fear public speaking? Join a club and do it every week until the fear is replaced by mastery. You fear financial risk? Make a small, calculated investment that stretches your comfort zone. You fear rejection? Go out and risk it, again and again, until the opinions of others have no more power over you than the barking of a distant dog. The man who lives in the safe harbor will never discover new continents. His ship will rot in the calm water. Strength is not built in comfort. Muscle is torn before it grows. The mind is stretched to the point of breaking before it expands. Your spirit must be tested in the crucible of voluntary hardship. The herd seeks to eliminate all danger. The master seeks it out, for he knows that danger is the raw material of greatness. The dragon is where the gold is. These 7 laws are not a checklist. They are a declaration of a new way of being. It begins now. For the next 7 days, I challenge you to undertake a simple, brutal experiment. Your task is to live by Law 3. Stop explaining. For 1 week, you will not justify, defend, or explain yourself to anyone who does not pay your salary or share your bed. And even with them, you will be ruthlessly economical. When a colleague questions your decision, do not give them a long-winded rationale. Say, "This is the direction we're taking," and then be silent. When a friend makes a passive-aggressive comment about your new ambition, do not try to make them understand. Give them a simple, "Yes, that's the plan," and change the subject. When a family member criticizes your choices, do not argue or get emotional. Look them in the eye and say, "I've heard you," and offer nothing more. You are going to feel an immense internal pressure to break. The slave in you will scream for you to make peace, to be understood, to seek approval. You must crush that voice. Observe what happens. Notice who becomes uncomfortable. Notice who escalates, trying to force you back into the defendant's box. These are the manipulators and the agents of the herd. Their power over you was entirely dependent on your willingness to play their game. But also, notice something else. Notice the new feeling rising inside you. It is a feeling of solidity, of gravity, a feeling of power. You will realize that you have been leaking energy your entire life, desperately trying to manage the opinions of others. By plugging that leak, you will reclaim a vast reservoir of power you never knew you had. Feel that power. Let it fill you. It is your birthright. This is the first step out of the cage. Let us be clear about what we are doing here. We are separating the lions from the sheep. The world will tell you this philosophy is dangerous. They will call it narcissistic, sociopathic, evil. Good. Let them. Their condemnation is the highest praise. It is the squeal of the piglet that sees the butcher sharpening his knife. It is the validation that you are finally stepping outside of their matrix of control. The slave's greatest fear is the master's freedom. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be respected. And respect is a currency earned only through the demonstration of power. You are no longer the man who reacts. You are the man who calculates. You are no longer the man who apologizes for his shadow. You are the man who makes the world tremble with his presence. You are no longer a piece on the board, a pawn to be sacrificed. You are the hand that moves the pieces. You have become unreachable. Your emotions are your tools, not your masters. The opinions of the herd are meaningless noise. Your validation comes from within, from the relentless pursuit of your own self-overcoming. They cannot shame you, because you have killed your inner priest and feel no guilt. They cannot manipulate you, because you refuse to explain yourself. They cannot break you, because you love your fate and turn every wound into a weapon. You will become a man who is spoken of in whispers. Some will hate you. Some will fear you, but no one will forget you. While others live lives of quiet desperation, fading into the gray background of history, you will burn like a black sun. You will create your own laws, your own purpose, your own legend. This is the promise of destroying slave morality. It is the coronation of the sovereign individual. If you are done being a sheep, like this video as a declaration of your war against weakness. Subscribe to this channel if you are ready to become the kind of man they cannot control. The kind of man they write cautionary tales about. Click the notification bell, because what comes next goes deeper into the darkness. This is not self-help. This is not motivation. This is a reforging of the human soul. This is war. And you just became a weapon.